When Mo Salah announced that he would be leaving Liverpool this summer, everyone thought that clubs were about to be lining up for his signature. I mean, this is a man who, just last year, was tearing up the toughest league in the world. He finished with the most goals, most assists, and was named the player of the season in the Premier League. He also broke loads of records on his way to winning Liverpool the title for the second time. And he finished in the top 5 of the Ballon d'Or last year. A player like this, with that much experience and still performing at the topmost level, should have been a really hot property in the window. We all thought that the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Galatasaray and PSG would be all over him, but that wasn't the case, not even close. These top clubs barely gave him a look, and he has now ended up joining Trabzonspor. Yeah, we definitely have to talk about it. I mean, just last year, De Bruyne left the Premier League at a similar age and ended up joining Napoli. So why was the Egyptian king largely snubbed by the big boys this year? You'll find out in this video today. This is why no big club wanted to touch Mohamed Salah this summer. Football fans, this is the deal you don't want to miss. Whether you're hunting for an iconic World Cup jersey or the colours of your favourite club, Goal90 Shop has the perfect pick for you. And right now, everything is a flat 15% off, with free shipping anywhere in the world. So don't wait. Hit the link in the description, head over to Goal90 Shop and grab your favourite jersey today. First of all, at this age, he simply can't be as hot as he would have been a couple years back. Salah is now 34 years old, which means that clubs are thinking that he realistically has not more than 2 good years left in him. The big clubs are looking to avoid that and just focus on the players they have in their squad or getting younger players in the window. And mind you, getting Salah won't be cheap at all. Yes, he was a free agent, but his wage demands are actually insane. This guy was earning nearly €500,000 per week until he left Liverpool this summer. That's a lot to keep up with. These clubs would have looked at the big picture and figured that they would not have got enough returns on their investment, so they just did not bother. And perhaps De Bruyne's move to Napoli last season now serves as a cautionary tale to the Champions League clubs this time around. Napoli took on the Belgian star and made him their highest paid player, but he ended up missing out on a large portion of the season due to injury, and considering they finished the season trophyless, it surely does not feel like it was worth it for them right now. But let's face it, Salah is very different from De Bruyne. Before De Bruyne left City, he had injury issues, so it wasn't very surprising that that continued in Italy. Salah, on the other hand, is almost always fit, so in spite of his age, that doesn't feel like it is a valid concern. What's more likely is that the individual clubs are just focused on different things right now and can see better opportunities in the market. Barcelona under Flick are prioritising attackers who can press relentlessly, not just score and assist. That was why they turned down the opportunity to sign Rashford for cheap, instead going for Gordon and Adeyemi. Looking at how they've been recruiting lately, they definitely would not have gone for Salah at that age, and surely not at that wage. But perhaps the most important factor here is that they have Lamine Yamal, so the last thing they're looking for is another starting right winger. Real Madrid though need a right winger with Rodrigo injured and Mastantuono now away on loan, but they seem focused on trying to bring in a player on the other end of the age spectrum. Yan Diomande might cost a fortune in transfer fees, but when you compare wage demands, he would end up being a more economical choice in the long run. PSG, meanwhile, are focused on young attackers alone who can press and play in multiple positions, and you can see that just by looking at the players they've been linked with in this window: Diomande, Akliouche, Ferran Torres. A few years back, PSG would very likely have snatched up Salah in a heartbeat and paid him whatever he was asking, but right now, they are in a new era, and seeing as this new way has been working, they are not interested in doing anything to mess it up. Some Premier League clubs could have made a move, but considering Salah's affection for Liverpool and its fans, we're pretty sure that wasn't even a real option for him. Guys like Galatasaray and Napoli already have superstars that they're paying loads of wages to, and adding one more would probably have been too much financial burden. The one we can't really explain though is AS Roma. An emotional return seemed like it would have been just perfect, and we think Salah may have been willing to take a wage cut to rejoin them. We have no idea why we didn't even hear anything on that front. Instead, they were busy putting in multiple bids to get Somerville and Garnacho. But that perhaps leads us to our next point. Maybe some of these clubs now believe that Salah is on a decline after last season. If you remember, Liverpool was seriously considering selling Salah to interested Saudi clubs in 2024. But then he went on to have an incredible season, which forced them to give him a new contract. Considering his 2025-26 season was very underwhelming, these clubs probably now feel like his second peak has now ended and he's only going to get worse from here on. Personally, we don't believe that. Salah's performances were obviously affected by the whole drama with the coach, and we saw at the World Cup that he still has a lot to offer any team. But when you're in your mid-30s and demand a lot of wages, big clubs are less willing to take risks with you. There's also a possibility that these clubs were put off by the drama they saw between him and Slot last season. Salah came out and lambasted his coach to the press, and there are surely a few coaches and technical directors who feel like that might be a problem, one they'd rather just avoid. Salah is a top player who will always draw attention, so what happens if he moves to a big club and the coach starts to put him on the bench? It's going to bring unnecessary attention, and that could start to affect squad harmony and team performances. These big clubs probably thought that it wasn't worth the risk, so they just decided to steer clear. I mean, we saw something similar with Cristiano Ronaldo in 2022. Following his public falling out with Erik ten Hag, big clubs weren't really chasing him when he made himself available as a free agent, despite the fact that he was one of the Premier League's top scorers just the season before. I mean, this is Cristiano Ronaldo we're talking about here, so the expectation was that top clubs would be lining up for him, but that wasn't the case. That was how he ended up making an unprecedented move to Saudi Arabia in January of 2023. But for a club like Trabzonspor, you can definitely say that signing Salah is worth the risk for them. They are looking to compete with the likes of Galatasaray and Fenerbahce both on and off the pitch, and bringing in a player like Salah is definitely a step in the right direction for them. He will definitely elevate them on the pitch and has the ability to turn them into real competitors, and he will also bring more eyes to the team and the league as a whole. Whatever they're paying him is surely going to feel like a worthy investment for them. For the other big clubs though, they can surely see themselves doing just great without him, which was why they decided not to even bother. But the question we should be asking now though is why Salah chose Trabzonspor instead of just moving to Saudi Arabia or the MLS. Honestly, that's what the majority was expecting to happen. He has done it all in Europe, so we expected that he would just go to one of those two countries to chase the bag. Mane, Mahrez, Son, Lewandowski, Müller, and of course, Ronaldo and Messi all towed this line. If Salah wanted to, he would have. But it could be that he strongly believes that he still has something to offer in Europe. Trabzonspor finished third in the Turkish Super League last season. Imagine if Salah comes in and leads them to their first league title in 5 years. That will be him proving everyone wrong, and what a statement that would be. Anyway, it is now time to hear from you guys. How do you think Mo Salah's Trabzonspor career will go? Will it be forgettable, memorable, or straight up legendary? Tell us in the comments. Also tell us why you think top European clubs refused to go for the Egyptian king this summer. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye!